My first question is right out of the blue. I'm more of like a fossil kind of guy, ginkgos and so on. Are carnivorous plants like the death metal of botany?
Yes. Next question. No.
How do you devolve from being into orchids into some weird plants and all of a sudden you're into carnivorous plants? How does that happen? Is that like a gradual thing? Is it a kind of an incidental thing, or is it just it really has a special attraction to it?
I actually cultivated almost no plant life prior to carnivorous plants. So for me, it was just kind of about the intrigue of having these bug-eating plants. And from there, I learned the cultivation. So I just dove right in.
I kind of literally stumbled upon these plants. I was a 10-year-old at a scout camp and out here on Long Island. And that was my first exposure to the plants. And my family owned a garden center. So there was a natural interest in, plant life. And my mother was the one that really kind of encouraged to, follow up. If you find something that, piques your curiosity, learn about it. And turned into a hobby. And here I am now.
So I've heard that begonias are really the gateway plant to start with. But for me, it was really carnivorous plants. That's how I started as well. I guess it all started with being interested in creepy crawlies and things, and carnivorous plants are just so cool and interesting, and that's where my focus is.
Are there documented cases of these plants actually eating small rodents or maybe larger animals? Anybody?
Yeah, there's some Nepenthes, I believe. Yes, like Nepenthes raja, which is one of the larger tropical Nepenthes pitcher plants, which has been documented to eat, I think it was small lizards and possibly small rodents. Also, I know that there are hobbyists who have actually taken bits of their own skin clippings and blood and actually dropped that into pitchers, and the plants seem to do just fine on that. So
there's been plants that eat insects, small vertebrates, and even, let's say, less desirable things such as animal scat. It's been found that they derive a lot of their nutrients from that source.
I have heard, of small frogs and tadpoles and things of that nature that can get trapped in them. But primarily, I've seen flies, ants, yellow jackets, wasps, hornets, all the lovely creatures of the planet is really primarily their diet. But there's always exceptions to every rule in nature, as we all know.
Has there ever been a major issue that just divided and polarized the community of carnivorous plants in a forum? Is there like a topic out there, like, milk first, cereal first? Is there one of those topics out there that would just makes people go crazy and they all start fighting over their position when it comes to carnivorous plants?
I don't know about fighting, but there's been some good banter about it. The plants, since I started, were, in the past, it was kind of like one of those ghost plants. You didn't really hear a lot about it or see them. And when I first started, that's exactly where it was. And now, many, many, many years down the road now, there is an incredible amount of interest. And, due to this unfortunate situation we've been in with COVID, really kind of fueled it. Because people were at home, people were looking for interesting and unique things. Parents were looking for things for homeschooling. And I found there was this huge burst of energy in the interest of carnivorous plants. And it was, really quite amazing because, I was thinking that we were in serious trouble, and it actually worked to our benefit to boost the awareness of these plants. And as it stands right now, we're getting them, back together, and it is growing even quicker.
What's the future of research? Like, do you know of any kind of research that's being done in these plants right now that might benefit society? Is there something we're going towards today that might be of interest coming from the world of carnivorous plants?
I think, and I touched on this a little bit in the film, is that the use of carnivorous plants as kind of a gateway entry into science for the young is probably one of the most direct and visible benefits that can be seen quickly, which is that by using carnivorous plants is kind of a way to encourage children to want to learn more about science. I think that's probably the most direct, easily seen benefit to all of society, really.
I know they're doing some research on the enzymes inside the pitcher plants, on the butterworts for antifungal type things. There's been some research into the oils from the Venus flytraps on the wall. There's a lot of research going on. like John, I can't say a lot about it because I'm not like really involved in it. But that's the beautiful thing about horticulture is that there's all different levels, and there are people that are definitely focused on it. There's a wide range of opportunity for people coming into, you know, the industry looking for careers and things of that nature. And, you know, plants are what's going to teach us, you know, how to survive, without a doubt.
I wanted to ask Jonathan, I see that you also have a history of producing thrillers and dramas. What made you want to pull the trigger on this beautiful film, which is only says it's about carnivorous plants? It's really about the people behind them.
So that's an interesting question. So I always knew that I wanted to do something that combined filmmaking with carnivorous plants. But I knew that I didn't just want to do another nature documentary, because that's been done several times before by, you know, very, very talented filmmakers with far greater budgets and experience than me. And so the one thing I found in running my own cultivation business is that I crossed paths with a lot of very interesting people whom I felt had really interesting stories to tell about how carnivorous plants affected them. So I wanted to tell kind of a human interest side of carnivorous plant cultivation, that kind of story, and use that as a vehicle to kind of introduce segments that could be educational about the many different types of carnivorous plants out there. And there were still many more that we didn't even touch on. But so that was really my motivation, was to try to tell a human interest story about carnivorous plants, which was something that hadn't really been explored much yet.
It's Valentine's Day. What plant should I be happy that my husband bought me? And what plant should I be worried that he bought me?
They're all a sign of love. Yeah, there's no underlying undercurrents there. That's just the love of plants and sharing.
Unless the plant starts to ask you to feed it vocally.
Reach out and touch someone.
What are your favorite great killer plant films?
Day of the Triffids is a classic.
Besides Little Shop, which is of course a classic, but in a non-tongue-in-cheek reply, I will say that there was a short film series by the gentleman who run a nursery called Saracenian Northwest. And it was a 3-part series called Grow Carnivorous Plants, volumes 1 through 3, and I believe they're available on YouTube now. And those were incredible for me when I was starting out learning how to cultivate carnivorous plants. So that's definitely something I would recommend if you can find that on YouTube. I almost forgot to mention Godzilla versus Biollante from I think it was like 1991.
Yeah.
Oh, how could I forget that?